Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Kemper Mutual Funds. There's never a bad time to make a good investment. And by Travelodge, offering the best value in lodging. And now, here's the voice of the Sockers, Randy Hahn.
Live from the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum on Long Island in Uniondale, New York. It's exciting Major Indoor Soccer League action. Tonight, the MISL champion San Diego Sockers meet the league's newest entry, the New York Express. And a pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Randy Hahn on Long Island, just outside Manhattan, where tonight the San Diego Sockers, for the first time, will play the New York Express. And in addition to our prime ticket viewers tonight, we want to welcome our listeners on our simulcast, KLZZ, AM 600 San Diego, and heard throughout Southern California. Well, the San Diego Sockers a number of years ago played in this building twice against the New York Arrows, but since then there has been no franchise here in the New York area. But the San Diego Sockers have a much bigger tie to New York than just having played here a few times. No fewer than 6 current members of the San Diego Sockers used to play here in New York with the New York Arrows. Zoltan Toth with 4 years of service. Bronco Segota began what has become an illustrious career here. And Julie V spent only 1 season here with the Arrows. Who was to know he would leave New York and head to the West Coast and start a string of 5 straight championships with the Sockers. And Julie is playing very well right now, leading the Sockers, in fact, with 2 goals and 5 assists. And I'm sure there were some, considering Julie's age, 37, who felt he may have lost a step after another off-season. But in fact, the opposite may be true. Julie may have turned the clock back a bit. He's playing very well for the Sockers right now, and they're going to have to count on him just a little bit more. Brian Quinn, another key member of the San Diego midfield, back home in San Diego with an injury, in addition to defender Brian Schmetzer, also sidelined with an injury. Well, there have been 3 other franchises here in the New York area that have failed to succeed. The New York Express just may do it. They may have the right combination. It begins with Shep Messing, a name synonymous with soccer in the New York area, former player for the Cosmos and the Arrows. He is the president and backup goalkeeper for the team, and he's put together a very American-oriented lineup, which is headlined by Ricky Davis, former World Cup competitor, a former Cosmo here in New York, last year's leading scorer with the St. Louis Steamers. And they've also added 4 local Long Island native players to the roster to try and bring the young players in this area to the games. This is an area with 200,000 amateur soccer players. One key name missing from the New York lineup tonight is that of Mark Liverich. He has almost 200 MISL career goals, but he is suspended tonight, out for a game due to disciplinary reasons. He apparently failed to put forth enough effort in a recent game that the Arrows played, or the Express played, and they have decided to sit him out for today's game. So that's how things shape up as the 5-time champions face the newest entry in the league, the Sockers against the New York Express. A couple of other games around the league tonight as well, and we'll keep you up to date on those as the scores become to us. Wichita playing at Chicago, and the undefeated Baltimore Blast at 4-0 on the road to play at St. Louis. Coming up next, the kickoff as the Sockers play the Express. Right here on Prime Ticket. For the New York Express, now let's look at the referees first. Bill Maxwell will be the crew chief on this one. It'll be Joe Manfrey also out there with him, and Bob Hitch, the 3rd official. And working the nets tonight for the New York Express, a veteran 37-year-old Hubert Birkenmeyer of 4.21 goals against average very early in the season. And down at the other end, 30-year-old Zoltan Toth. He's 1-0 this year, a very good goals against average. Came out of the game against the Lasers a couple of games ago with an injury, but he's set to go now. And we're set to get underway. The Sockers defending the goal to our left. And they will start with Toth in goal, Kevin Crow and George Katakalitis on defense, along with Gene Wilrich and Hugo Perez in midfield. Bronco Segota up front. It'll be Birkenmeyer in goal for the Express, White and Marr on defense, Amarelli, and we are underway. Kevin Crow at midfield for San Diego, playing it into the New York zone. Back out to Gene Wilrich in midfield, the Sockers captain. Another longtime veteran of the San Diego team, which has changed very little from the club that won a 5th straight indoor championship last year. Ricky Davis brings it back for New York. This is Pesa, also formerly of the St. Louis Steamers. Oh, shot by Collins, hits Wilrich and goes out of play. And we get a kick in for the San Diego Sockers. Ray Klobecka, he's the head coach of the New York Express. Not exactly as impressive a record as Ron Newman. He certainly hasn't been around in the indoor game as long. 48-45 career. This is Klobecka's 3rd indoor team. Also coached with the Buffalo Stallions way back when, and the New York Cosmos for some time when they experimented with the indoor game MISL style. Nice clearing header by Clavillo as the kick in went to New York that time. Collins off the wall, looking for Giannetti in front. Now it comes over to the other side. It's Chris White from way outside the penalty area, and the Express strike first. Now, Zoltan Toth may have been screened on that partially. That one came from 30 feet and beyond, off the foot of defender Chris White, whose pedigree is English. He comes from the Arsenal Football Club in England. And good use of the wall by Alberto. And then he feeds it back. And the setup from Marcelo Carrera and White beating Zoltan Toth. Low to the near side. So it's 1-0 New York as White gets the goal. Here's Wilrich to beat, and he scores. So very quickly, the Sockers come right back. And that was the goal they were looking for early on in this period and couldn't get it. That time, Julie V beats Birkenmeyer from the other side before Birkenmeyer was able to make the hand save. So Julie V, who we told you has been among the more impressive Sockers in this early part of the season, gets his 3rd goal of the year. A nice 3-way passing play. It started out of the corner from Segota. Wilrich with the touch pass over to Julie, and we're tied at 1. So 2 quick goals. First by White for the Express, and then V for the Sockers. By Collins and Alberto. Sockers have Namdar, Ladouceur, Crow, and Clavillo on the penalty killing unit. They call it the no-goal patrol. Shot wide off the wall to the left of Toad. Now Davis to the right side. Shot by Pesa, that's wide to the left. Comes off the wall, back to Ricky Davis. He quarterbacks this power play up the middle of the field from the high slot area. Takes a left foot shot, but it was after the buzzer. And that's the end of the quarter. It's a 1-1 tie here in New York at the... And we'll be back with more on Prime Ticket after this. Now it's White who scored the lone New York goal. And it's out of play off of Fernando Clavillo. So another kick in for New York, and now the teams are at even strength as the penalty to Perez expires. And of course, the foul clock is reset at the beginning of the period. So while there were 5 fouls for the Sockers late in that period, they got out of that situation, and now they kill off the penalty. So the New York power play unsuccessful on that opportunity. And we have not had a foul so far in this period. As we mentioned, there have been 3 other indoor soccer franchises in the New York area. The Arrows, which we've elaborated on already. The New Jersey Rockets, who lasted a year or so. And the Cosmos, who went indoor. None of the 3 succeeded, but the Express think that they have the right combination with some recognizable soccer faces in this area and some homegrown talent. Long Island players. They want to capitalize on the large number of youth soccer players on Long Island. Some 250,000 are playing the game here. And the best way they feel to get them out here is to see players from their own community. It sounds like a good concept, one the league would like to be able to initiate in all cities. This is Kevin Marr using the wall, but Toth, experience, gets the rebound. It goes in. Someone stuck a foot in there after Toth seemed to have it and knocked it away from Zoli and into the goal. It may have gone in off his back. So Toth looked to have the situation under control, but it got away from him. And the Express go ahead 2-1. And it looks like Luis Alberto will get credit for the goal. It started out of the corner. Kevin Marr played it up the middle and got it back from Alberto. Now here's where Toth seemed to have it, but it was kicked back toward him and in fact did go off Zoli's back and into the goal. So the Express now take a 2-1 lead, and the Sockers have been unable to lead at any point in this game. Still waiting for the official scoring play, but it seems it may have gone to Alberto. For our viewers, another look from the corner. Marr, who was with Pittsburgh last year, played it to Toth, and I think it was Marr himself who came back in and put it in. So it's Kevin Marr, one-time MISL Rookie of the Year, who gets the goal game, the only preseason game the Express won. They went 1-3, losing to Cleveland and to Chicago a couple of times, or making Chicago and Kansas City, but they beat Cleveland 5-0. Ball back into the San Diego penalty area for Zoltan Toth. Ron Newman would love to get a late goal here. Nothing inspires a team more than that late goal before the halftime break, as the Sockers demonstrated in St. Louis, where they went on to score 5 in the second half after a late goal. We have a foul, San Diego, called against Hugo Perez, and a free kick for the Express in midfield. And that is the first San Diego foul of this period. The Express have only one as well. On our Kobe Sports Arena Swap Meet scoreboard here in New York, 2-1. Hope you're enjoying the simulcast here on Prime Ticket and KLZZ, AM 600 in San Diego. Segota to Gary Collier at center. A minute 10 left as Collier will play it now to Crow on the right side. Express out shooting the Sockers 11-2 so far in the second period. And they have only one goal to show for it. So while the Sockers dominated the first period, New York has to be feeling the same way about the second. Here's Segota, nice move, still on the move. He'll toe poke it, and Birkenmeyer with the save. Bronco went around 3 guys. Here's Wilrich a chance. Crow's in front for the rebound, and he can't put it in. And they want a foul in front, but don't get it. Now 38 seconds left. They're trying to send Marr in on a breakaway down the right side. He can't get to it. Fed by Toth back to midfield for Segota. Bronco to the right side. This is Wilrich. Lines up for the left foot, and it's wide. Here's Perez now. On the right side. We're down to 15 seconds on the clock. In front, Hugo on his wrong wing, the right side with it. Left foot shot. That's high and wide. Chance for Crow from way out. That deflects off McLean. He'll clear it back to Hubert Birkenmeyer. And that's going to do it as we get the buzzer to end the first half of play. And Hubert Birkenmeyer has to be pretty happy with the way things have gone for him and for the New York Express. White at 3:57 with the first New York goal. Then V came back at 4:11 of the first period. And then Marr in the second period at 1:59 scoring the go-ahead. And right now leading goal for the New York Express. On the MISL Prime Ticket scoreboard, it is the Express 2, the Sockers 1, and we'll be back on Long Island between the San Diego Sockers and the New York Express. And we're joined now by the most valuable player in the All-Star game in the MISL last year and the Sockers' leading scorer with 60 goals last season, forward Bronco Segota. And Bronco, this is a homecoming of sorts for you tonight back in this building, the Coliseum. Many great moments here, I'm sure, for you with the New York Arrows back in the late 70s and early 80s.
Yes, Randy, it's very good to be back in New York, and especially in Nassau Coliseum, where I started my career and had a lot of success here. And, you know, with Steve Jungle, Don Popovich, Zoli, and everybody here. And hope everything goes good tonight.
Now, really, this is the area where you really got your initiation into the MISL. It wasn't too much of an initiation, at least the way you built up the stats very early. You came in as a 17-year-old, which is really phenomenal and still stands up ever in the MISL. You didn't seem to be too intimidated at all right from the outset.
No, we had a lot of good players at that time, and you know, just Steve Jungle took me under his wing and taught me a lot about the game and, you know, conduct on the game, and Popovich was there, and I learned very quickly from these people.
How did you get into the situation of being given the opportunity of being 17 years old and playing professional soccer here in New York?
Well, I was on tour with the national team, and my old coach, Peter Durden, was assistant in New York, and he asked me to come out for a trial, and I came up here for about 3 days, and they said, we want you to come back after New Year's and sign.
And the goals just kept on coming. 118 for Bronco in 3 seasons here indoors. Let's talk a little bit about right now, Bronco. The Sockers have lost 2 games in a row, and really, with 6 points in 4 games for you, you're not really on your pace and at the peak of your game right now. Is it because of the early part of the season?
I think so. I think, you know, the reason is that our whole team isn't really playing up to their potential, and when everybody plays well, more things happen, and you get the odd point here, another point here, a goal here, and nobody's really in top form right now, so we're just waiting to get into fifth gear.
Bronco, I know you're getting close to coming to agreement with the Sockers on a new contract. Is that a little distracting right now, maybe?
Yes, it is. I mean, it's been going on for a month and a half now, and it kind of sits in the back of my mind every time I go out there, and I would like to get that out of the way and just concentrate on soccer.
Well, Bronco, best of luck the rest of the season, and again, congratulations on a great year last year.
Thank you, Randy.
Sockers forward Bronco Segota, and we thank him for joining us here at the Coliseum and for being with us. He'll receive a gift certificate from Valley Sport with locations at Horton Plaza and in Fashion Valley in San Diego. Well, one man who had a lot of success against Bronco Segota this past week is the MISL's Defensive Player of the Week. Goalkeeper for the Los Angeles Lasers, David Bursich, who surrendered just 1 goal to Bronco in 2 wins over the Sockers last week. And we'll have more from the Coliseum on Long Island, right here on Prime Ticket. And now Kevin Crow clearing it back to Zoltan Toth. This is Segota now, and he's got 1 man deep, Coker, as he comes down the left wing into the attacking zone. Still on the run, Segota in front for Coker. He scores! Addy Coker! And that was in slow motion. Segota with a great run down the left side. And that's one of the best runs I've seen Segota make this year. In fact, tonight, his playmaking has been very good. Coker just sticking his right foot out as Bronco turns on the engines down the left side. And Coker just pokes the right leg out as Ferreira was falling trying to mark Addy. And Coker gets the goal. That's his 4th this year. No assists, but a big goal it is as it ties things up here in the 3rd period. And from San Diego's standpoint, hopefully turning the momentum around a little bit, which the Express certainly took back after the 1st period when San Diego dominated from Birkenmeyer. Power play continues. Shot from way out. That had a chance, but just went high to the right. Namdar gets the rebound down in his own zone for San Diego. He'll play it ahead to Ladouceur. Now to Kevin Crowe, breaking toward the net. He's tripped up by Birkenmeyer. He'll get a 2-minute penalty. So what happened to Zoltan Toth happens to Birkenmeyer. He comes out, way out of the goal, knocks down Crowe, and the teams will go to even strength again for 47 more seconds until the penalty to San Diego expires, and then we'll have a power play Sockers. Birkenmeyer coming after the 50-50 ball, but it wasn't really 50-50. Crowe got there first, just a split second first, and Birkenmeyer called for the trip. Otherwise, Crowe has a clear look at goal, perhaps. Birkenmeyer, I should add, got part of the ball, too. And that's why he's arguing so vehemently. He said, I played the ball, and Crowe just tripped over me after the fact. And they're going to give a shootout attempt. So they're saying that it was a breakaway for Crowe and a shootout attempt now for San Diego, and we rarely see this in MISL play. And it'll be Segota taking it. He's lined up at the red line. Bronco Segota with a defender, Ricky Davis standing alongside him, but of course they'll move Davis out of there. They move it back to the red line on a breakaway where a player is tripped in the same way that the NHL does in hockey. Now Segota will get 5 seconds to score. Now he can score off a rebound, but he'll have 5 seconds from the time that the referee starts his watch to take his shot. If he has a chance on a rebound before the 5 seconds expires, so be it. But we get a shootout attempt for the San Diego Sockers. This is their 1st of the year. And Segota, who's looked good offensively tonight, has 1 assist to show for it, will get the opportunity. Birkenmeyer still muttering to himself as he backs up into the goal. The Express will have to send a man into the penalty box in case Segota doesn't score. Then the Sockers still get a power play, although it'll be even strength with a San Diego man still in the box. Referee Bill Maxwell instructing Birkenmeyer. Segota set for the shootout attempt, standing at the red line. Birkenmeyer in the goal to our right. The officials get set. Segota on the run now as the whistle sounds. Bronco fakes, goes wide to the right, and Birkenmeyer scoops it away. Rebound, but Segota can't score in time. He does get it, put it in, but after the 5-second whistle. And Segota did not look confident on that shootout attempt. No goal. It went in, but after the 5 seconds. Back after this. The power play opportunity. They are 0 for 3 so far. It is Ricky Davis to the right side of the attacking zone for Mike Collins in front, and it's intercepted by Jacques Ladouceur. He'll carry it in his own zone up to the red line. Namdar gives it back to Chris White. White sends it in for Alberto. Give and go for Carrera, and he scores! Marcelo Carrera, and the Express finally get a power play goal. A pretty play by Alberto and Carrera. The Argentinian connection for the Express. Chris White started it with a steal in midfield. Over to Alberto. One touch into the middle of the zone for Carrera. He had to stop it once. A little trouble controlling it, but put it away with his left foot. And really, Zoltan Toth left defenseless against Carrera. Zoltan came out to try and stop it, but Carrera lifted it over Toth's outstretched right arm. So Carrera gets his first ever MISL goal, and the Express go ahead 3-2. Sorry, no prizes for opponent goals in the third quarter. If that would have been a soccer power play goal, we've given away a weekend for two at the Travelodge in San Diego. However, not for a New York goal. Soccer's even strength with the Express. Here's Perez with a feed to Wilrich. Went off his hand. Oh my, he tried to control it with his right foot and hit him in the right wrist. And he smiles about it on his way back. Carrera, the power play goal, his first ever in the MISL. 14:21 the time of the goal. Nice feed from Alberto, and again, you've got to give Chris White, this 25-year-old defender out of England, credit for a nice play in midfield. Number one, to have the presence of mind to going off for 2 minutes, and the Sockers are penalized again. And Crow does not like this call at all. It was in front of the San Diego penalty area, and another power play for New York. And the Sockers, who this year were attempting to cut down on the number of penalties, find themselves having served now 10 minutes. As Crow, rather dejectedly, makes his way over to the penalty box on the near side of our broadcast location here at the Nassau County Coliseum. So now another power play chance for New York. Crow had 14 penalty minutes last year. Goes off for tripping at 14:59, just a second left, so not much of an opportunity here for New York on this power play. Basically, try and play it into the penalty area and hope for, well, actually, they'll probably try and shoot it directly on goal, but the Sockers, of course, will put a wall in front of Michael Collins. He has the ball outside the penalty area. Right foot shot hits the wall, and the last second ticks off the clock, and we get the end of the third period. You're watching MISL action on the Prime Ticket Network. We're tied, or no, it's the Express leading 3-2, and another power play. We'll go with what they call their super power play. They pull the goalie and bring on the sixth attacker, and it will be in the person of Fernando Clavillo. So the Sockers now in a super power play. Down at the other end, their net is empty. But Clavillo wears the yellow jersey so that he can stop it with his hands if he has to. Inside the penalty area, however. Sockers on the super power play now. It's Segota on the right. Plays it deep to Perez. Cross the goal mouth, but it's cut down by Birkenmeyer. He looks downfield now. Goalkeepers love that because they have a chance to score throwing it. Gets it to center for Chris Wright, who throws an elbow at Kevin Crow. They both go high up in the air, and I think White got an elbow back. Here comes Segota across the red line. He's got Perez on the right. In front for Coker, and he scores! And the super power play pays off. Great transition on that play as Crow did a great job in the back, winning a ball away from White after White had taken a swipe at him. And then Coker, with his second goal of the night, deflects in the pass from Perez. 3-3, we're tied. Segota poking it to the corner, and Perez, off his wrong side, feeds Addy Coker in front, and Peter Giannetti, who was marking Coker, just left him a little too much room. And Coker scores for the second time tonight in his return to familiar stomping grounds, at least for one season with the Arrows way back when. And Coker now with 5 goals on the year. So on our old Pacific Beach Cafe scoreboard now, we're all tied up at 3 with 6:20 left in regular. Here's a giveaway. Here's Segota. Ahead for Wilrich, and right at Birkenmeyer's face. Segota on the rebound. Winds up, blocked by Alberto, and he clears it. Birkenmeyer has been unbelievable. Here comes Davis. Back the other way for New York. This is a 3-on-3. Tries to work it to McLean. He pushes off Coker. It goes out of play, off McLean. San Diego ball. Well, Hubert Birkenmeyer, at the age of 37 years old, is coming up big tonight. Now, if you're Shep Messing, you're the president of this team, and you're also the other goalkeeper. Now, after a game like this, do you put yourself in? I don't know. I'd keep Birkenmeyer in there and start him until he loses. Tough decision for Ray Klevecka, who may have to bench the team's president. Has anybody ever been the president of a franchise before and played on the team? I've never heard of it. Playing coaches, sure, but playing president? At center, it's Rotolo for San Diego. We're down to 2 minutes now in regulation, and of course, if this is tied at the end of 4, we'll go to sudden death overtime. Katakalitis chips it into the attacking zone, looking for Rotolo deep, but that's intercepted. Now it's Collins, and he feeds it up for Giannetti. Now the Express on the attack. It's stolen in midfield by Crow, at least for a moment. Then he has to kick hard at it, knocks Collins down. Crow now ahead for Segota. Here's the guy you want with the ball in the dying moments. Segota back to Crow, but it rolls off his toe to Birkenmeyer. Sockers will change on the go here. They'll have to be careful here not to get caught short in the back. V is back with Katakalitis. On comes Clavillo. It's down the left side for Ryan. He takes the shot. It's wide. Rebound, Collins. It's wide and may have gone off Katakalitis. Ladouceur along the near wall. 1:20 left. And it's free to Katakalitis, and he'll clear it back to the goalkeeper, Zoltan Toe. Rather surprised, neither coach has used a timeout here. In the MISL, each team gets a 1-minute timeout per half. Here's Segota in the neutral zone. Now into the attacking zone down the left side. Bronco still with it. Tries to get past John Hedlund. Wants the obstruction call, doesn't get it. Back on the Express, but Clavillo will work it free to Collier with 1 minute left. Now Toad, ahead for Ladouceur, to center for Segota. He's marked by McLean. In comes Ricky Davis. Segota trying to go around McLean. Still with it, shoots, and Birkenmeyer bats it down. We get a whistle and a foul against Segota for pushing off McLean with 49 seconds left. And that is the 5th San Diego foul. McLean cut. Know about that call, Segota pushing off. McLean seemed to be cutting Segota off. A check on that foul count. It is 4 for San Diego, so not nearly as crucial as 5. So the foul's at 4-4 with 49 seconds left, and the score tied 3-3. We're going to have a great finish here, one way or the other. If it ends now or in overtime. Steal. Segota gets it from Ferreira. In on goal. Still with it. Maybe one too many moves. Yes, and he played it behind Julie V. Back come the Express with 30 seconds left. Here's Alberto into the left corner. After it is Kevin Marr, but he can't handle it. V trying to clear it back to his goal, gave it away. Here's Marr out of the corner, and he hit the referee. Bad luck for Marr. 20 seconds left now. V tries to work it loose in midfield, pushes off of Ricky Davis. That is the 5th foul, and now the Sockers are 1 foul away from the penalty. They've got to be careful here, or else that penalty will continue into overtime. If it goes to overtime, a chance for Marr there, but he missed. Now it's cleared back for Toad. Goalie will look upfield. Roll it to his left for Ladouceur. 5 seconds left. Ladouceur at his own red line, looks upfield, plays it to Julie V. V trying to slip it past Ferrara. And we get the whistle and a foul called against New York at the buzzer. We will go to sudden death overtime. The Express and the Sockers all tied up. You're watching MISL action on the Ticket Network. And we'll be back right after this in overtime. Katakalitis will kick it in from midfield. 3-3 tie. San Diego and New York in overtime. Kevin Crow, right side of midfield, plays it up the wing for Gene Wilrich. Wilrich turns to get away from Mike Collins. Now he'll have to play it square across the field to Katakalitis, ahead for Segota. Bronco bumped from behind by Ferreira, and it comes back to Katakalitis. Up deep for San Diego is Ruotolo, being marked by McLean. Here's Segota down the left side, and that'll be an obstruction call against Ferreira. And that's the first New York foul of the period. San Diego will get it just inside the New York zone, left wing side. Segota and Katakalitis standing over the ball, and Katakalitis will put it into play back to Kevin Crow. To Wilrich, back again for Crow, and now over to Katakalitis. This overtime doesn't help the Sockers tomorrow night. They have to play again. They'll travel tomorrow morning and then go to Cleveland for a game there tomorrow night. Katakalitis plays it into the attacking zone for Rotolo. He'll drop it back for Segota. Back into the corner for Wilrich. He'll use the wall. In front, they score! Rotolo gets the winner in overtime, and the Sockers beat the Express and never led all game long until now. Raffaele Ruotolo, born in Brooklyn, and rather appropriately gets the winner here in sudden death overtime. And I know he had 20 or 30 fans here, family members and friends, and they are the only ones cheering in this building as Ruotolo gets the winner in overtime, and a disappointing finish for Hubert Birkenmeyer, who had a splendid night in the nets for the New York Express. Birkenmeyer gets condolences from Ron Newman, Sockers head coach, and a number of the Sockers players. He was absolutely tremendous tonight, Birkenmeyer was. But the Sockers, in the end, came through with the goal by Ruotolo. And it comes with 7:07 gone in overtime. Ruotolo's fourth of the year at 7:07 from Gene Wilrich, the Sockers captain. And it's a happy group of San Diego Sockers who start out a two-game road trip with a very thrilling 4-3 overtime victory over the Express here in New York. A reminder that the Lakers are coming up next. They'll host the Chicago Bulls at the Forum. Again, our final score here on the Prime Ticket Network. Sockers 4, the New York Express 3. And we'll be back in a moment. Island, New York, where the San Diego Sockers in overtime have just defeated the New York Express 4-3 on a goal by Raffaele Ruotolo, a native of Brooklyn who moved to Italy for most of his life, came back to the Sockers a couple of years ago. Young player that they've been grooming. And he has his fourth goal in 5 games, and this one was a biggie. Came at 7:07 of overtime on a pass from Gene Wilrich out of the corner. And a nice feed by Wilrich using the wall, and Ruotolo with his right foot pokes it past Hubert Birkenmeyer. That's been the way Ruotolo has scored, I think, most of his goals so far this season, but none could have been more dramatic for the youngster in front of a crowd that was sprinkled with his supporters from here in the New York area. And we're going to be joining the Laker game in just a couple of moments. And they're getting set to host the Chicago Bulls at the Forum in Los Angeles. Again, the final score here in New York. San Diego 4, the Express 3. So long for now from Long Island.